From the big field at Wake Med Soccer Park, it is TST at night. It's getting to crunch time in group play on the men's side. Third and final game of group play for two teams looking to stamp their ticket to the knockout round tomorrow and keep their $1 million dream alive. From Group C, our matchup tonight pits Drip FC against the 610. If it's your first time watching a TST match, welcome. Even if it's not, a reminder of the rules. This is 7-on-7, 20-minute halves. No offside or throw-ins in TST matches, and every match ends in a goal. Where we turn off the game clock, we set a target score. We'll explain a little bit more about target score time when we get to the end of the second half, and that becomes a reality. Here are the lineups for both Drip FC and the 610. For Drip FC, Declan McCarthy is the goalkeeper. Jake Shannon, Titus Sandy Jr., the defenseman. Daniel Steedman, Davey Alves, and Caden Tolentino in the midfield. David Ajagbe is the forward. For the 610, Gus Valeriano is the keeper. John Austin Ricks and Abdullah Nuruddini are the defensemen. Michael Hughes, Jake Schween, Josh Lucchini are the midfielders. Dalton Pando is the forward. So we mentioned both of these teams are trying to secure a place in the knockout round. Both of these teams are 1-1 through their first two games of group play. 4 teams in a group, 12 groups total on the men's side. You have to finish in the top 2 to get an automatic qualifier spot to the round of 32, which starts tomorrow. If you're doing the quick math, yes, there are 8 places available in the knockout round beyond just the top 2 finishers in each group. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to slip into the knockout round with a 3rd place finish in a 4-team group. However, neither of these teams wants to take a chance on that. If you've been following the schedule to the minute, you'll note that we are a little bit delayed here. This game was supposed to start at 8:15 Eastern time. It has been raining all day and into the evening hours here in Cary, North Carolina. And as a result of a previous match getting delayed at halftime, that has pushed kickoff of this contest between Drip FC and the 610 back a little bit. There's the kickoff, and we are underway. The 610 is in the dark-colored kicks. If you look closely, they are accented in purple. And Drip FC in the white pinstripes. The 610, in case you're wondering, that is the area code for the city of Philadelphia, Rockies area code. And this is a collection of players, by and large, with ties to the city of brotherly love. Drip FC is the brainchild of former Clemson soccer player Isaiah Reed, who won a couple of national championships for the Tigers. He created an online brand called Drip based on a social media series that he started on TikTok 4 years ago. It has evolved into a soccer lifestyle brand that has now entered a team into the soccer tournament this year. And a lot of current even and former college players round out the Drip FC roster. This is Declan McCarthy, the keeper, playing it in the blue kit, number 1. Ball played into the middle. That's Davey Alves, who gets a shot away, and it dribbles just a little bit wide of the stick. Alves, number 10 for Drip FC, figures to play a big role in this game. He's got goals in Drip FC's first 2 contests of the tournament. That caroms out of bounds, and the re-entry by Titus Sandy Jr., number 2 in white. There are no throw-ins, remember, in TST matches. So every re-entry from the touchline begins with an indirect free kick. Just over the midfield line, Jake Shannon, number 13, plays it along to his right to Daniel Steedman. And this is Sandy Jr. on the wing. The 610 kind of retreating into the box. Alves quickly blanketed, and he coughs it up. Michael Hughes with the takeaway, and some real estate for the 610. Bringing it down the field, Dalton Pando. And Sandy now will watch the re-entry. Pando, a long cross to the back door just outside the box. And the return in the direction of Michael Hughes, just not quite there. That was John Austin Ricks, who was the recipient of that re-entry. Both of these teams are competing in TST for the first time. Two new clubs entering the field of 48. And we are down to the final games of group play here. It has been quite a sprint since gates opened on TST 2025 yesterday. Two preliminary round games for the men's side yesterday, one today. And the women's bracket booted up today as well. 16-team field on the women's side, 48 on the men. Third year of TST, the $1 million winner-take-all soccer tournament, which you can also describe as a festival here at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina. Drip FC working it into the box and cleared out to midfield by the 6'10", backed up by Titus Sandy Jr., and he misplayed it a little bit, but keeps it in bounds. Drip FC opened TST with a win over Copa America 5-4 in its TST debut. They dropped their second game 5-3 to Nani FC. And that's what both of these teams have in common. Wins over Copa America in group play, losses to Nani FC, which a lot of teams can say in TST. There's a collision and a foul on Drip FC. Quickly on the re-entry. Slide tackling is not allowed in TST matches, by the way. You can watch the replay of that on the box on the left side of your screen, the smaller of the two. Nani FC has had a chokehold on this group. Nani FC, the defending runner-ups at TST 2024, and they have not had the so-called Super Bowl loser hangover to start TST 2025, handing both of these teams on the pitch right now losses in group play. 2-1, still a respectable finish to start TST, and that's what's on the line for both of these teams here tonight. A couple quasi chances for both sides to start things out. We're about 5 minutes in. No grade A chances as of yet. But here's a chance right on cue from Daniel Steedman, who is in the box. And a fabulous save made by Gus Valeriano. Even though the 6'10" lost its TST debut game to Nani FC 3-1, Valeriano was massive in goal for the 6'10". He made 13 saves on a really good Nani FC TST championship contending club. So Valeriano has been an anchor for the 6'10" through group play so far. Into the box and swept out by the head of Jake Shannon. And the 6'10" loses it over the goal line. .610 has branded itself as an underdog story, kind of like Rocky. A lot of players that have been overlooked coming out of the Philadelphia area, maybe haven't gotten quite the shot that they wanted, and a determined play there by Justin Ruth. And he picks up the foul. Ruth was called for the foul. Our referee today is Mo Kalia, and now it appears that the call has been not overturned. It is Drip FC ball. It's simply pointing to the restart spot. Alves makes the pass to Steedman, a TST goal scorer for Drip FC. Steedman high in the attacking end. Now it slips down to Dave Balliet. Balliet, number 11, was facing the net for a moment. Balliet, one of the captains for Drip FC. Only captains are permitted to speak to referees during match play. Alves, a blocked pass. That's eventually taken by the 6'10". room to run. Ruth was the man in the box in black and purple, but the pass was behind him. Substitutions also are permitted on the fly. And you can substitute in as large a number as you want, as many times as you want. Declan McCarthy walking the ball out toward midfield. Now a long pass in deep, and it's deflected out of bounds. From the sideline, Alves finds Steedman. Alves up high to Sandy. High in the box, Steedman staggers, and the ball picked up by the 6'10". Chance for a counter here. Pando is the man in the keeper's box, and the save is made. Great play by McCarthy. But the 6'10" not done yet. That was perhaps a shot attempt right through the box by Dwayne Hickerson. No one there on the back door. As we take a look at the last save by Declan McCarthy, who will be tested again here. Pando puts it in play. Pando into the box. And a good play made defensively by Titus Sandy. He blanketed Josh Lucchini every step of the way. Play opening up here a little bit. This is Balliet, escorted just off the sideline by Pando, and recycled up to Alexander Vukovic, who's one of the captains for Drip FC and a player with a decorated college resume. Vukovic actually is set to play at Duke University in the late summer, early fall to round out his college career. He will be pursuing his second, not his first, his second master's degree with the Blue Devils program. From just off the sideline, John Connor Agnew on the ball. Played up to Davy Alves. Alves with a bit of an opening. Alves, he was challenged by the keeper. Play made by Valeriano. And this is Agnew rolled up to Vukovic. Vukovic at 6'4", an imposing presence on the back line. Played to the top of the box and struck right back out by the 6'10". We are just about halfway through half number one, 2 20-minute halves. And then the game clock will turn off. We'll play to a target score to determine the winner of this Group C Round 3 showdown. Drip FC on the wing, up high, Vukovic with it. Just off the touchline now. And up high to Vukovic one more time, played over to Agnew. 6'10" steps up the midfield pressure, but Vukovic with a nifty maneuver. A shot from distance, parried away. Valeriano up to the challenge from outside the box. Sets up a corner for Drip FC. Played into Agnew up the sideline. And Vukovic defers to the keeper, McCarthy. Steedman grabs it. I beg your pardon, that was Nico Salopek, number 6 for Drip FC. The Vukovic pass intercepted. That goes over the goal line in Drip FC's end. The 6'10" was founded by a couple good friends and former teammates who played small college soccer and semi-pro together. Jake Schween and Abdullah Nuruddini, both players on the 6'10" roster as well. Both have been on the pitch already tonight. Here's a chance brewing for Drip FC. And the shot shut down at near point blank range. This is Nuruddini on the ball now as he plays it back to Valeriano. Up the opposite way this time. And a foul called on Vukovic, a little too handsy with Andrea DeSoma, who wears the 10 jersey for the 6'10". .610 launched as both a brand and a soccer program in about a 2-month span. They put this effort together from the ground up very quickly after seeing an advertisement for TST. Logos, marketing, branding, the roster, the coaches, the athletic training personnel, training space, a field to practice on. All of that was cobbled together by Schween and Nuruddini very quickly. And their efforts rewarded with a TST win in their second game ever in the tournament, 4-2 over Club America. Scoreless over halfway through the first half. Agnew with it, just in his own end. And now played to Michael Lopez. Lopez again, played wide to Vukovic. There is an 8-second limit that teams have before they must move the ball forward. You don't have to get it across midfield in 8 seconds, obviously, but you have to keep the ball moving forward at all times. And that's a rule that really comes into play during target score time, when teams will sometimes try and idle on the ball, in part because every 3 minutes of target score time, each team is required to subtract a player, and some teams like to stall for time to get fewer players on the pitch and set up what, in their philosophy, would be a more advantageous scoring scenario. Long way to go before we get there, however. This is still just the first half. Ball picked up by Caden Tolentino, and now Vukovic backs the play up. Vukovic, again, number 5 on the back line for Trip FC, a player very familiar with this field, specifically this pitch. In fact, he played here on the big field at WakeMed Soccer Park in December in the national championship game for the College Cup. Chance brewing for the 6'10", and the ball covered up by McCarthy. The run down the field made by Michael Hughes, who scored a goal in the second half of the 6'10's win over Copa America yesterday. Possession has been controlled by and large by Drip FC, but when the 6'10 has been able to take the ball away in their own end, they have been able to manufacture some transition chances out of it. Nothing's found the back of the net yet. Vukovic, we mentioned, will play for Duke in the fall. He played for Marshall University last college season. Marshall was denied in its bid for a second national championship this decade. They lost to Vermont, of course, in the national championship College Cup culmination in December. Of course, for 7-on-7, the pitch here divided in two, playing the opposite way. Field is 195 feet long and 135 feet wide for this 7-on-7 affair. This is field 1 of 7 in play for TST 2025. We have a foul here. 6'10 will hang on to possession. And a decent free kick opportunity for Dalton Pando, the midfielder. Pando will not take the free kick. Instead, he steps just to the edge of the goalie box. High drive into the bleachers, and it rattles around there. Both teams rolling in substitutions for the final few minutes of the first half. Brady O'Neill on the ball for Drip FC. Jake Shannon back to McCarthy. Mentioned that Drip FC originated as a TikTok series by team general manager and founder Isaiah Reed. As a college player at Clemson, he started a TikTok series called Drip or Skip, which was his commentary on level of drip for pro soccer players. It again has evolved into a soccer lifestyle brand, and players who wanted to try out, if you will, for Drip FC had to submit, you guessed it, social media reels of their highlights. Seems appropriate. Fernando Garcia after the ball for Drip FC. He's met by Dominique Casas for the 6'10". Casas has it here. Back to Valeriano. Lucchini had a play on it for the 6'10", but no real issue for Declan McCarthy. O'Neill up the left side. Long ball into the box, knocked right back out by the 6'10". They jump on it on the midfield. Lucchini looking for Hughes. 6'10" hangs onto it in the attacking end. And now Drip FC reverses possession. Final seconds of half number one. Jake Shannon over to O'Neill and back to McCarthy. Kept in play by Davy Alves. Casas looked like he was about to win possession back for the 6'10", but the whistle sounds on one half of play. Both teams playing with a berth in the knockout round on the line. This is the final game of group play. No score at the end of the first half. Just a 5-minute halftime break, so we will be back for the start of half number two in no time. You're watching the Soccer Tournament 2025. Welcome back to Field 1 at WakeMed Soccer Park. TST under the lights as day 2 of this 6-day soccer festival winds down after a whole lot of rain passed through North Carolina throughout the day today. Finally, a break from the rain, and it's settled into quite a nice night here as we get ready to start the second half between Drip FC and the 610. Not a whole lot of offense to speak about, and we don't just mean because the lack of goals. Shots 4-3 for Drip FC, but either team only with 2 shots on goal. Drip FC has controlled possession by and large. The 610 has had some decent breakaway opportunities, decent transition looks, but no one has been able to break through yet. Again, both of these teams playing in Group C. And with Nani FC already punching its ticket to the knockout round, both of these teams are trying to become the second-place team in Group C, which would also mean a spot in the knockout round of 32, which starts tomorrow. Again, even for the loser, there is a pathway into the knockout round. A field of 48 will be trimmed to 32 at the end of the night. But a win tonight certainly keeps destiny in your own hands. We've switched sides to start the second half. Drip FC in the white. The 610 representing Philadelphia in the black and purple with white numbers. Drip FC now moving right to left on your screen, and the 610 the other way. David Ajagbe tried to play it just outside the 36, and a foul. It'll set up a free kick for Drip FC. Andrea De Soma is the first line of defense for the 610. Here we go. That was struck up in the air by Jake Schween, the co-founder of the 610, number 6, putting his body on the line there. Out of bounds, and it belongs to the 610. I guess it was a foul. Schween now. Some tape dangling from his wrists. Gus Valeriano saved both of the shots on goal he faced. Now he winds up towards the goal, and gosh, that didn't miss by much. Just over the corner. McCarthy had to make a play on it just to be safe. Half number 2 of 20 minutes in length. This is not the first time that the 610 has played a scoreless first half. Their last game, which ended up being a 4-2 win over Club America, save made there by Valeriano, was also scoreless at halftime. 610 came out hot in the second half early in their last game. Grabbed a 3-0 lead and then ultimately won 4-2 after a goal in target score time. Nuruddini rolls it toward the box, taken away by Steedman. Nuruddini got a foot on it. And the 610 recollects in its own end. Michael Hughes ahead of Ajagbe, the former Ohio State Buckeye, number 17 for Drip FC. Dalton Pando way down alongside the box. Now it's into the penalty box and eventually covered up by McCarthy. John Austin Ricks, number 12, was in the box with a chance to potentially make a play on that ball. And it's walked up instead by Alexander Vukovic, the native of Serbia. Crossing attempt denied by Nuruddini. Strong play defensively. And Schween with it on the pass across to Ricks. Pando just in his attacking end. Cleared back to midfield and a late whistle. Possession to the 6'10". This is Dwayne Hickerson, who just checked into the game, and now he moves off the ball. Okay, it is a foul on the 6'10", so Drip FC with the restart. Vukovic in his own end, only man there right now for Drip FC as he brings it across the TST Shield logo. Steedman, Balliet, save made by Valeriano. Vukovic, and a wide pass too far out in front of Titus Sandy Jr. We mentioned Gus Valeriano had a 13-save effort in a loss for the 6'10", but still, what a performance. 6'10" has got strength in goal, no question about it. Here's Dominique Casas with a rip, and it was blocked. Another try and a save made by McCarthy, that one from Hickerson. Correction, Josh DiMatteo with the last try. DiMatteo has it now. Over the head of Casas and out of play. Team starting to exchange chances a little bit now. Still early in the second half, but after a relatively cautious first half, maybe we'll see more chances here in the second. Again, even if you have the lead at the end of the second half, it doesn't matter. You have to score a goal in target score time to seal the deal. Balliet guarded by Hickerson. Out of bounds and behind the net. Jake Shannon tried to save it for Drip FC. Hickerson up the other way for the 6'10". We mentioned that a lot of Drip FC's players had to submit highlight tapes via social media to be considered for the roster. And Jake Shannon, one of the defensemen who's on the field right now, number 13, an exception to that rule. Alves dispossessed by Pando, and McCarthy able to get back into the penalty box. Drip FC held a training camp in the middle of May, and they also held a tryout for the final 2 spots on their roster. They invited 6 players to compete for the final 2 spots. Jake Shannon was one of the players who so impressed Isaiah Reed and the staff of Drip FC that he earned a spot the old-fashioned way. Balliet taken down. Our referee, Mo Kalia. Austin Saini is the bench official. Balliet having a word with Mo Kalia here. It's 6'10" possession. This is Casas, who was a late addition to the 6'10" roster. He was added, we're talking maybe a day before the tournament even began, but scored the target score time goal, the game-winning goal for the 6'10" in its first ever TST win. So what an addition to the roster. Now a chance for Drip. And a slide tackle made. And Davey Alves is pleading for a call here. It was Abdullah Nuruddini who made the tackle, and again, slide tackles are not allowed in TST. Take a look. Again, Alves clearly in the penalty box. Call not going his way. Drip FC will have to settle for a corner. John Connor Agnew will take it. Alves still not getting an explanation that he desires. And he won't. Alves now pleading to the bench as the ball rolled back in towards Shannon. Played back to McCarthy. And the other defenseman, Michael Lopez, has it now. Valiette cuts to the middle. Lopez actually made a run down to the outside of the box. Shannon surveying his options, and he takes the safe route. Shannon to Valiette just outside the 36. And Pando with the takeaway. Stopped at midfield by Shannon. Counter attempt. Alves was just outside the goalie box, guarded by Nureddini. His back was to the net. On the corner, Alves puts it right into the breadbasket of Gus Valeriano. He heaves it up to Josh Lucchini, who is toppled, and a foul called on Trip FC. Over halfway through half number 2. Still no score. In terms of goals scored in this game, this is much more along the lines of the 6-10 style of play. Nureddini rolls one, and it's kicked out by Shannon, who is protecting his keeper. Through 2 games, 5 goals for, 5 goals against for the 6-10. Trip FC has been involved in much more high-scoring affairs. With the same record at 1-1, Trip FC with 8 goals for and 9 against. However, in terms of determining which of these 2 teams advances to the knockout round, goal differential will not be a factor. They'll be able to rely on head-to-head matchup for that. You're looking at 2-time Major League Baseball All-Star and World Series champion Johnny Damon, who is one of the key sponsors of Trip FC. Now 51 years old, he considered playing in TST, but as a huge soccer fan, he took a look at the level of competition, took a look at the roster that was put together by Isaiah Reed and company, and decided he would be a bigger contributor, as that one gets out of play, as a booster and a sponsor and a motivator, I guess, but he does get a kit, as he should. But in terms of athletic resume, you want to put Johnny Damon on the roster. He's the most decorated athlete on the pitch tonight, albeit on the sidelines. World Series winner with the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Part of a nearly 20-year Major League career. In it goes, and Valeriano makes the snag. Above the head of his teammate, John Austin Ricks, who receives it from his keeper here. Hickerson up ahead to Andrea De Soma. And Ajagbe wins the ball briefly for Trip FC, and Ajagbe foul. Trip's got it. Davey Alves with it. You got to figure Alves is a guy who's going to have a say in the outcome at this game at some point, as he puts one right on the mitts of Valeriano. We mentioned 2 goals already in the tournament for Alves, 1 in each of Trip FC's games thus far. And it goes to Ajagbe, and it's instead redirected out of play by Ricks. Ajagbe on the return feed, kept out of the box by Schween. Mentioned Schween, one of the co-founders of the 610. He owns a roofing company in Philadelphia. There's kind of a blue-collar feel to the 610. They petitioned the TST tournament organizers every day with an online video to eventually gain acceptance into the tournament. Good stop made by Ajagbe. Rolled up ahead for Alves, and Valeriano puts this one onto the concourse, nearly. And Drip FC a little too quick to restart. And Ajagbe flops down, and some gamesmanship here involving Gus Valeriano as well. Ajagbe reacted in an over-the-top fashion after, you couldn't even say Schween pushed him, he just put his hand on him, and Valeriano was right on the scene to reciprocate the histrionics. There was a hard collision there right as the pass was made. Hickerson got tied up with Hayden Criollo of Drip FC. Fouls against Criollo. Right back to Drip FC. This is Steedman. Ajagbe. Criollo just outside of the goalie box right now for Drip FC. Steedman, a drive, and the save made by Valeriano. He has been on top of it tonight. Steedman has got 2 goals in the tournament as well, a dangerous attacker. Plenty of offense on the pitch for Drip FC, but no one's been able to get past Valeriano so far. It feels like whoever scores first is going to win this game. And that score might not come until target score time begins in just about 3 minutes. A chance for Casas, however, and McCarthy comes up big. That one gets dangerously close as well off the foot of Yassine El Khaloun. It was wide of the cage, but how about the goalie battle tonight? Pay attention to the second chance here. It was actually redirected towards the net by a Drip FC player. Valeriano sits on it for a moment, and here's Nuruddini, one of the 610 co-founders. Top of the box, it's taken back. Criollo leaves it for Ajagbe, who nearly over-pursues the ball but stays in possession. This is Steedman. Steedman to the middle, and that's blocked by Pando. Ricochet tracked down by Brady O'Neill, but out of bounds. Last touched by the 610's Justin Ruth. Vukovic, Shannon. Back to Vukovic. His teammates call him Vuko. McCarthy eyes upfield. Sliding to his right. Got to get a move on here. Got to move the ball forward within 8 seconds. It's actually getting pretty close right now. Here we go. Ajagbe in the middle. Steedman hangs on to it now, loses it to Pando. Pando, a good two-way player for the 610, but 610 unable to clear. Steedman back to Ajabe. It's loose and just tipped away by Valeriano. 6'10" had numbers in the box, but that ball had a lot of spin on it and ended up being dangerous. Sets up a corner for Titus Sandy. And he plays it softly to Steedman, and it's taken away. DeSoma with it. And plays it over to El Kaloun. Loose in the box, high, and taken right back by Drip FC with some room. Casas shuts it down for the 6'10", and Valeriano is fired up. That was last touch by Drip FC, an outstanding play defensively by Casas. And right on the 40-minute nose, we go to target score time. Nothing has been decided yet, but we know one thing: the first and only goal of the game will determine the winner tonight, and with it, a place in the knockout round of 32. We'll review the rules of target score time, a TST tape staple, when we return from WakeMed Soccer Park. You see, the target score is just 1. Here's an explainer on the target score. This is an ending that has been adapted from the basketball tournament and applied very effectively to the soccer tournament now. Target score is equal to the leading team score plus 1. It goes into effect at the end of the second half. Quite simply, the first to the target score wins. This is a way of ensuring that every game ends on a made goal. What's unique about how this is applied on the soccer pitch is that every 3 minutes that elapse in target score time, not that that's significant to the game clock, but the 3-minute increments mean that you have to subtract a player with each passing 3-minute block. So in an extreme sense, you could find a 2-on-2 scenario to determine the target score winner. And the game winner, of course, as well. Can't get down to 1-on-1, but we have seen already at TST this year a couple of 2-on-2 finishes. Makes for some interesting decisions strategically. Puts the spotlight on coaching to an extent as far as just how to play this very unique way to end a game. It's Drip FC versus the 6'10". Winner advances to the knockout round. This is game 3 of 3 in the group stage. Two teams playing in the soccer tournament for the first time, and both these clubs have checked the box of first TST win and being able to advance out of group play in your first TST. Quite an accomplishment. The field is more competitive this year than it's ever been. And the bar was set pretty high when TST debuted in 2023. We're still waiting to clear the field here of coaches and personnel. And then we'll get rolling with target score time. First team to the target score wins. No score through 40 minutes of regulation. So the target score is just 1. First to score wins. By the way, whoever scores the game-winning goal, whichever individual scores the game-winning goal, will receive a golden fleece brought to you by Adidas. The significance of the golden fleece comes with lifelong free admission to TST. But the instant gratification, a berth in the round of 32. Drip FC in the white, the 610 in the black. Drip FC ball, they move left to right like they did in the first half. Vukovic for Alves, and it's broken up, but Drip FC hangs on to it. Vukovic came over to the United States to play college soccer and further his education. Started at a JUCO program, LSU Eunice. That program went to the NCAA JUCO tournament, and Vukovic was scouted by UC Riverside, so he played at UC Riverside for 2 seasons, then most recently played on the Marshall side that finished national runner-up in college soccer last season. And again, although the game clock has been turned off, pay attention to the clock still. As we get to the 3-minute mark, that's the first time that the players, the rosters rather, the teams will have to subtract 1 player from the field. At 7-on-7 for now. And a little over a minute from potentially a 6-on-6 scenario. The philosophy is interesting. Some teams will play the target score time pretty passively to do just that, subtract players from the field and open things up a little bit and really play a possession game. That has been Drip FC's MO in this one. They have played the possession battle, has not yielded anything in terms of goals scored. Vukovic really the point man for Drip FC. Alves plays it to the top of the box. Loose and out of bounds along the end line. Steedman rolled to Vukovic. And back to McCarthy. Both goalies, if you wanted to hand out a player of the game, both goalkeepers have been fabulous. Drip FC gets the foul call as Dave Balliet was twisted down and now is slow to get up. Balliet really the veteran, the captain, the team leader of this Drip FC side. General manager Isaiah Reed says Balliet is most important to the team's success. We have reached the first 3-minute increment, or the first 3-minute threshold here in target score time. So that means each side must remove 1 player, and we are now down to 6-on-6. On the free kick, deflected out of bounds. Possession awarded to Drip FC. Titus Sandy with the re-entry. Again, no throw-ins in TST matches. Jake Shannon has it. Balliet, the captain, is the man in the middle right now for Drip FC. Davey Alves has it. Cuts high to the middle and drops it down too far past Shannon. Dwayne Hickerson. Drip FC thought the ball was out of bounds. Play continues. This is Yassine El Khaloun. Dalton Pando, not much real estate, taken away by Daniel Steedman. Steedman certainly capable of ending this game with his leg. He puts that one up onto the concourse, above the bleachers. A shame for either goalie that someone's got to lose this game. Both goalies have been masterful tonight. Hickerson the restart. Dominique Casas back to Hickerson. Let's see if the 6'10 can do something with the ball here. This is really the first time in target score time that the 6'10 has been able to control possession, try and set something up in the attacking end. Valeriano looking for Pando, and it's playing on a bounce by McCarthy. Sandy upfield. Balliet in pursuit, but Valeriano watches that one roll out of bounds. Wow, and possession awarded to Drip FC. Valeriano has to get back there. 6'10 certainly thought it was going to be their ball, but here's Alves with it. Alves a drive, and it's deflected up high and out of play. Josh DiMatteo for Valeriano. DiMatteo misplays it. Shannon sets up on the touchline for Drip FC. And either team, both teams now have to remove a player. We're down to 5-on-5. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that we haven't had a quick end to this game in target score time. No goals have been scored. Both teams getting their personnel situated. Titus Sandy rolls it to McCarthy. Caden Tolentino exchanges places with Jake Shannon now. Shannon is at the top of the box for Drip FC. Back to McCarthy. That's Yassine El Khaloun, number 8, trying to apply some pressure for the 6'10. Just can't get too greedy and set up a numbers advantage for Drip FC in this case. Here's Sandy looking for some room alongside the box. Now backed into the corner. Almost came free with it. Tolentino with the ball, and a shot off the mitts of Valeriano. Tough angle. Now Sandy. Sandy fires, and it's off the post. Here comes the 6'10. That wakes the crowd up. Dwayne Hickerson. It was a Jagbe who touched it last. Well, that one almost struck the corner where the two pipes meet at a 90-degree angle. comes the 6'10". Loose just outside the box. McCarthy traps that one on a try from distance. There would be a measure of irony given how this game ends if the winning goal is either scored by a goalie or even a goalie assist. It would seem somehow appropriate given how well both goalies have played. McCarthy, who just played the ball there a moment ago, does have an assist already at TST this year. That's a foul against Drip FC. 6:10 ball, and it's time for both teams to subtract a player. We go to 4-on-4 now. Again, next goal, only goal wins. And you'll see some teams do the strategy that the 6'10 has done here. They have pulled Gus Valeriano. Still, of course, have a de facto goalie. That's the player wearing the penny right now. Here's a chance, high, and into the seats. The substitute goalie was John Austin Ricks. Now with possession for Drip FC, Valeriano comes off the 6'10 bench. Now you want a real goalie on the field if you're the 6'10. Got to be careful with these substitutions, however. It's an easy way to get a bench yellow card if you either have too many players on the field or if you substitute a player from the bench as opposed to the substitution area. Davey Alves with it. Over to Shannon. A lot more real estate on the pitch right now as we're down to 4-on-4. And it'll only continue to open up the longer we play. Alves. McCarthy. Shot blocked by Nuradini. And now Drip FC is going to pull McCarthy and set up, to borrow a hockey term, a power play of sorts. But wait, hold that thought. Possession was reversed. It is actually the 6'10 ball, so Drip FC absolutely wants Declan McCarthy back out there, and now Gus Valeriano will head to the sideline. And John Austin Ricks, wearing the orange penny, is back on. Nuradini, defended by Shannon, and it's tipped away by McCarthy. Now Hickerson. Ricks. Hickerson. Nuradini in the box. He has it now. Hickerson for Ricks. It's Pando. Nuradini on the back door. Pando for Nuradini. Steedman out to make the play. Oh, and Nuradini just missed short side. Would have been the game winner. He had a one-on-one with the keeper. Could not finish. We are now down to 3-on-3. Titus Sandy wearing the pink penny. He is the goalie. This really designed to make a 3-on-2 like scenario. Sandy in the middle. Daniel Steedman with it now, number 8. Davey Alves, number 10, rounding out the trio for Drip FC. Sandy. Alves has to step outside the box. Sandy, top side, Steedman. Sandy, the only player outside of the penalty box right now. Steedman. Alves. Steedman. Sandy. Steedman getting in tight. Alves. Steedman. Backdoor. Sandy scores. It's a game winner for Drip FC. And in their inaugural TST, the drip drive is good. They are through to the knockout round. All kinds of social media content being created right now for what started as a social media brand and now has a little more brick and mortar to it. Drip FC, backed in part by Johnny Damon. You saw him there a moment ago celebrating with the fellas. One goal enough to decide this one. It comes in a 3-on-3 scenario. Here it is. Great pass from Steedman to Sandy. And Titus Sandy Jr. picks up the Adidas Golden Fleece for slotting home the game-winning goal. And that is lifetime free admission into TST for Titus Sandy Jr. So Drip FC, they're playing tomorrow in the knockout round. There's still a path for the 6-10 to get there, but we'll have to wait for the end of the night to determine the third-place teams in their groups that have enough to move on to the round of 32. Low-scoring affair, but still plenty of entertainment. Drip FC wins 1-0 in target score time, 3-on-3. A few more games coming up here to wrap up the night. Stay with us. You're watching the soccer tournament.